All right, everyone, thanks for your patience there. Nice to see you all. This is Tawny from Create Your Cruise. I'm here with Jenny Hall. She is our key account manager of Celebrity Cruises, one of our absolute top partnerships. And we are really excited to present some exciting updates for the brand with you today. So, we are going to be talking about the Solstice Revolution, which is not what it's called, but the revolution is what I think of because when you first started doing these on the Millennium series, that was what they called them. So if anyone remembers, that was like back in 2019 when they started doing those. And since then, I've sailed on almost all of them to see what the new differences were like. And it's like sailing on a brand new ship. So really excited to know that you guys are starting the Solstice class now. And it's got an all new like branding campaign. So tell us about it, Jenny.
Yeah, so this is something that we are really, really excited about. We're kind of in-house. We're calling it the Celebrity Renewed campaign, beginning, of course, with our beautiful Celebrity Solstice and the Solstice series. This is so I usually am not in the habit of reading slides, but because this is kind of our mission statement for this project. I kind of just want to read over it. You know them, you love them, they're your happy places, and now they're going to make you happier than ever. We're making our classic ships new again by elevating everything that made you fall in love with them in the first place. That means new ways to explore, restore, and everything in between. No ship of ours is going to be yesterday's news. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises ever. And that really truly was our North Star in this entire redesign, reignite, renew project. Because, and this is something I say all the time, and I mean it with all of my heart. Every ship is our best ship because we put in what it takes to keep these ships up to design standards, maintained, upgraded when the time comes. So let's take a look at what we're doing with this modernization. So we're investing, all told, when this project is over, we will have invested over $250 million in modernizing our Solstice series ships. And the Solstice series ships are very near and dear to a lot of people's hearts because for a lot of people, this was the first experience they had with Celebrity sailing on one of our Solstice series ships, whether it was the Celebrity Solstice or the Equinox, the Eclipse, the Silhouette, or the Reflection. These ships are really, really near and dear to our guests' hearts. So the first thing is, as these ships go through this renewal process, they're getting a unique hull design. So when you see a ship with a hull that looks like what you're seeing on your screen right there, you're going to know that that ship has been through this whole Celebrity Renewed makeover. And it truly is a bow to stern makeover and glow up. And I absolutely love it. Orange is my favorite color. And so I can't wait to start seeing these ships in ports all over the world. They're absolutely going to be just stunning. We're introducing a lot of new venues. And I do want to say, before we start going through all of these slides, that these are mock-ups of, sort of what these spaces are going to look like. But this is not written in stone. Everything is not finalized on the design. So while this is sort of a sneak preview for you, please don't, take pictures and go, this is what it's going to look like, because colors might change, the design of the furniture might change. This is an overall concept, but it's not been fully signed off on. So the first new dining concept that we're so excited to introduce is called Trattoria Rosa. So this is your, sort of a traditional Italian, red sauce pasta meal, except with that elevated celebrity experience. Plush surroundings, beautiful menus, some experiential, sort of almost like dinner and a show type of things with tableside prep and some surprise and delight type of experiences. wonderful, wonderful food, that you'll almost think that Mama Rosa is back there in the kitchen cooking. So it's
She might be.
she might be. You never know. It's entirely possible. But this will really be a don't miss it opportunity on board Solstice series ships. It's something we're very, very excited to introduce. And of course, first to Celebrity. This is a brand new dining concept for us. So something we're really excited about. I think this next one is near and dear to your heart, right, Tawny?
I do. I love Fine Cut. Anyone who's familiar with the Edge Class series from Beyond on, Fine Cut is the steakhouse, and it is truly just one of those top-notch, don't miss it kind of steak houses where, so I like to go to this restaurant and I go with my friends who are pescatarians, and they also love this restaurant because the menu's varied. You have all kinds of fish, you have all kinds of seafood, you have all kinds of steak, and you can even get some chickens and some porks and things like that. So a varied menu, but this is a five-star experience. Everything from the butter they serve you to the way they give you the dessert is like mapped out to give you a, start to finish, not just dining, but as Celebrity does, they elevate the experience as well. So this is an exciting addition.
And another thing, something we're really excited about with regard to Fine Cut is that this particular restaurant recently earned a Forbes 4-star restaurant at sea rating. So, and that is very, very hard to come by. And there are not very many restaurants at sea that have any Forbes rating at all. So we're very, very excited and honored that they chose to give that to Celebrity for our Fine Cut Steakhouse. Now, Sunset Park, this to me, I'm really excited about it. As you probably know, if you're a Celebrity loyalist, if you have sailed on any Solstice series ship before, I'm sure that you very well remember the Lawn Club. And it was the live growing grass up on the upper deck. With, you could get a picnic basket, you could sit out there and watch a movie or eat at the Lawn Club grill or whatever you might have done. But trying to grow live grass at sea is extremely challenging, and there are other exciting uses of that space. So what you're seeing on your screen here is the evolution of that. It's now going to be called Sunset Park. And this is a space where you can enjoy the incredible views that you always enjoyed from the Lawn Club. We are changing out the live growing grass to turf. So that now we don't have to make you take off your shoes or only walk on it in socks, remember the sock party,
Yes, we did a big event on the Silhouette with about 700 people, and we had everybody on the lawn club, but it was such a challenge with the grass, so we had to theme the party as the Rock Your Socks Sail Away party so that people would wear socks and not show up in shoes. So this is a very exciting thing. I think it's going to make this space just so much more multi-purpose. People are going to be drawn to it a little bit more, having the ability to really be on the grassy area and not have to worry about, someone asking you to change your shoes or move or do something. So this is a really exciting addition.
Absolutely. And then also you can see there's a lot more seating. There will be a takeaway food bar up there where you can get little bites and you can just sit in a wonderful, comfortably shaded area if you would like. We've brought a lot more shade on board the pool deck because of that, intensity of the sun, of course. So there's I think there's a lot more functionality to the space than there used to be. I think it will create a really beautiful common area for our guests to come together, enjoy the food, enjoy the views, relax. It's a terrific concept that they've come up with. I'm super excited about it. And then the Celebrity Barcade. I think you were excited about this one too, right, Tawny?
I am excited about this one. I think this is something that Celebrity has always done well as far as like leading the way in entertainment. Like Silent Disco's the very first one I ever went to was on a Celebrity ship. Lots of different kinds of entertainment, karaoke with the band. You guys have always done that. But I feel like something other ships have always had that has drawn people in is that pub atmosphere, having those games, having kind of like a sports themed area. You have the craft social, so you have the sports bar in some places, but I think this is going to be much more functional to draw more people in,
Yeah.
to be interactive, to have fun with each other, to play games, have a little game night with your friends or your family. Like this is exciting. It's something new.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you see like so many more TV screens to cover so many more different things happening in the sports world. Floor to ceiling game wall with all kinds of like board games, new games, older games that people can come in and just pull down and play. Big things like pool tables, maybe skee ball. So
Mm.
many things going on in here, and they really are considering that this is going to be like a round the clock sports bar type of a venue. So, and I do think that this is something that people really long for.
Mhm.
Because, I've had people on board, during hockey finals, Stanley Cup finals, or, some kind of a big golf tournament or whatever. And they're like, oh, where can I watch? And, now we have enough screens that hopefully we can cover all the big events. So
Yes.
that's super exciting. But yeah, it's a great place, for people to just hang out, relax, play a game, watch a game, whatever, floats your boat. We're excited to bring it. Now the Boulevard Lounge and the Boulevard Bar. It's a really intimate entertainment space that we're developing. And I think too that you'll find it being used for a number of different things, like probably by day. This is where you'll see the cruise director's staff maybe doing some of their game shows. Maybe, I don't know, maybe holding their bingo in there. But then in the evening, it's going to translate into this wonderful space where you might find dueling piano players, or you might find a candlelit concert at night. I don't know if you noticed on that very first slide, one of the 4 photos was all of these candles. And that will be in here. Probably battery
I was
candles.
gonna say, maritime law, just so
Yeah.
everyone's expectations are managed, they will not be real candles. But if you've ever been to a candlelight concert at home, they're really incredible. I love the concept of it. It's such a relaxing way to listen to that kind of music. And the candles they use are also battery operated, but it adds like a nice ambiance to it because it's always flickering, just right. So I think Celebrity has always done really well with multi-purpose spaces. So you described this perfectly. It made me very excited to experience it because I feel like this is like the Sky Lounge elevated, something that's going to be
Yeah.
more multi-purpose even and be custom made for new varieties of entertainment. So another exciting new venue on Solstice.
Yep, and close enough to the Boulevard Bar. If you want to go grab a cocktail, bring it back. Short walk. Now, this is something else that we're bringing over from the Edge series vessels. They're such stunning, just cutting edge vessels, and so we're bringing this over onto the Solstice series, following this same model that we have on the Edge series of the Retreat Sun Deck and the Retreat Lounge. Absolutely gorgeous spaces. The Retreat Sun Deck will be up on deck 16. So again, ideal placement. It'll have a lovely hot tub. So just think about, on the Celebrity Solstice, sailing in Alaska or Asia and the Pacific, and sitting in that beautiful hot tub and just taking in those stunning views. And of course, the Retreat Sun Deck and the Retreat Lounge. These are exclusively available only to our suite guests. The Retreat Lounge, that has, you can see the renderings there, beautiful, relaxing, modern coloring, sort of monochromatic with little pops of color here and there. There's always a retreat concierge in there to provide service. There's always food in there. There's always beverage service in there. So this is for our suite guests. And of course, they will also have the lovely restaurant Lumine, exclusively available to our suite guests. And then all the staterooms on board the Solstice Series ships will be receiving a total glow up And this is something I'm particularly excited about, is that yes, they're getting new soft goods. Yes, they're getting new color schemes, but what they're also getting, which I am super happy to tell you, is more electrical outlets. So you can charge
Oh,
more devices. Yay!
that is exciting.
I specifically asked that question. We recently had a town hall with our president, Laura Hodges Bethke, and I put that into the questions, and she answered it. And she's like, yes, I can definitely tell you you're getting more electrical outlets in the staterooms. So, this will be, again, a total glow up, every single stateroom. And we're even adding some new categories. We're adding more aqua class because that is such a popular category. Of course,
Especially on this ship, because the spot on the ship, that was like one of the big selling points when the Solstice first came to the market. Was it was one of the first ships with a big focus on wellness and spa experience, and it was one of the questions in the Q&A box. So just kind of hitting on that, even though we're going to talk about it here shortly, is that the spa is also getting completely redesigned and getting a new relaxation lounge. So that's great news for aqua class guests, because that's what's one of the inclusions are. So new
yeah.
stuff coming there too.
Yep, absolutely. And Aqua Class so popular because they have their own restaurant Blue, and like you said, Tawny, the overarching concept of Aqua Class is health and wellness. So ever popular.
I feel
So
like Solstice was the first class where Aqua class became a thing, and everyone was like, "Wait, what is this new class?"
Yep, and now we know. And I'm telling you, Aqua Class has its loyalists, and they don't aspire to sail in the retreat. They love Aqua Class, and they're like, this is it for me. I absolutely love it. And that's what they rebook and rebook again and again and again. But just to kind of recap some of what we've talked about, the two things I really want to hit on here: four brand new stateroom categories that we are introducing. So this will be the panoramic infinite veranda suite, the deluxe panoramic ocean view suite, the panoramic ocean view suite, and the deluxe panoramic ocean view. Brand new categories available to book. It says starting mid-June. I don't make and service bookings, so they may be out there already right now. I'm not 100% sure of when they actually opened up the ability to book those, but if they're not out there now, it should be like literally any minute. And then the other thing I would mention is the new private cabanas that we're introducing, and those will be up on the newly redesigned, what used to be the Lawn Club. There will be ocean-facing cabanas that you can rent for the day if you would like to. You would do that right through the shore excursions area on board the ship. And that way, if you want to have a lovely, kind of a more private, quiet area to just sit in the shade, relax, and take in those beautiful ocean views, those will be available. I think everything else.
With dedicated attendance.
Yep, yep, yep. And I think everything else on this page we already talked about in our slides.
There's a question here that I just think is worth addressing. So somebody was saying that they sailed on the Equinox back in April and there were some issues with the chairs. The great thing about when Celebrity does these, what I call revolutions, again, that's not the right word anymore, but they renew, they refresh, is they're making the ship feel brand new. So they're spending all this money to go create all these things. That means they're taking the time to hit those little details as well, to get all new lounge chairs and all new things so that the entire ship has that flow of newness to it. That's the concept behind this. So understanding that this is not just a refurbishment where they're going to go in and touch up some paint or replace some furniture. It is going to be a complete redesign, pull it out. I think the next slide shows that as well, like what's going to expand and change. Or nope, this is it, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's important to understand, like, that is what we're talking about here. When you go on the ship, it's going to feel brand new again. That's the concept.
Yeah, I mean, literally in a in a renovation like this, we are taking it down to the metal and building it back out. I mean, think about like the staterooms. We're putting in new electrical wiring in every single stateroom, to increase the outlets and all of that type of thing. This is a complete bow to stern makeover. I mean, there is I think it will be hard to find anything on this ship that hasn't been redone, or at least zhuzhed up, right?
Right, exactly.
But yeah, like I said, every stateroom will be refreshed. We're upgrading the retreat experience. We're redesigning Cafe Al Baccio, which is the much beloved espresso and pastry bar. One of my favorite places, by the way.
Hmm.
Whole new design of cellar masters, an expanded sunset bar. So again, the most popular view on any ship in survey after survey after survey is that wake view on the back or the aft end of the ship where the sunset bar is located. So we're expanding the footprint of the sunset bar so that more people can sit comfortably and enjoy that. We're redesigning the martini bar, the world-class bar, the pool bar. We're adding more shade because we're aware a lot of people are desiring more shade. We're expanding the footprint of Blue, the private restaurant for Aqua Class, as well as Lumine, the private restaurant for the retreat. As Tawny mentioned, the spa is getting a new design layout, an all new relaxation lounge, which I am super excited to see and experience. And then Camp at Sea and the Future Cruise office will both be relocated and redesigned. So really, really exciting things happening. And this will all debut in, I believe it's March of next year. I mean, it's coming up really quickly.
It is
So
coming up very quickly. It was one of
take
those
it
things
away.
where my okay, yep, I'm good still. Sorry. It was one
Yeah,
of those
no,
things
no,
where
no.
it popped up. We're like, wait a minute, that's happening in less than a year.
Yep.
So it's very exciting. I think some of the questions I know we'll all have, which will be a mystery for us for a while. Will the martini bar still have the ice? We don't know yet. Someone asked if the shower heads will be replaced. I'm assuming so, but we don't know yet. So there's still plenty of things we don't know, but we do know that it is going to feel all new. And of course, we'll be happy to send somebody on it and come back once it's sailing after that and let everybody know how it's doing with its new refresh. So there's a couple questions here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about where she's going to be sailing after this. And we're excited to go into that. So
Yeah.
how long was the ship taken out of commission to make all these changes? So actually, it has not happened yet, and you guys would be surprised. These shipyards, I've actually had the pleasure of going to a shipyard and seeing how it all operates. Incredible. They are so fast, and they put all these things in these blocks and put the blocks together. So they've probably already started building some of it that they'll put into the block of ship. But it will only be under dry dock for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So it's not a long process.
And
But we
keeping
don't,
in mind that they work in 24-hour shifts,
yes.
so they can get a lot more done than the normal average bear, would get done in a regular work day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those places run like machines. It's incredible. We don't know if Tuscan and Murano will still be on the ship. If I had to guess, I would say no. I would say that you will not see those returning. But time will tell. Like I said, we don't have, or don't know if we said, or if that was me and you talking about it, but we don't have the official deck plans yet for what the redo is going to be like. So there will be more to come. I do not expect to see Tuscan or Murano, but I could very well be wrong about that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the intel on that either. It's a great question.
It's just one of those things where you can see all the new additions being added. Like if they're adding a steakhouse, they're probably not going to, and a new Italian concept, they're probably not going to leave an Italian steakhouse concept on there as well. That's just my logic behind there.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yep.
Somebody asked if they could put plunge pools in the sunset bar. I do not see that happening either. I think that's very much an edge class experience that they want to keep on edge class. So I would not expect to see that either. But like we said, we could be surprised here.
Yeah, and bodies of water present a weight and balance issue. So there's a lot of mechanics that go into things like that. And space, Edge series, they just have more deck space. So
Mhm.
I too would be very surprised to see that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about where she's going to be sailing. When she comes out of dry dock, she'll be making her way to Alaska. So that'll be doing 7 night Alaska sailings round trip from Vancouver for both of those options. So slightly different variations on the itinerary. I know we do have some specials. Everybody's here waiting for specials. Of course, we do have a few sailings here. I believe we have 9 sailings that have free gratuities and $100 of onboard credit for Alaska season for next year. So you'll find those here. We'll be sending out some emails tomorrow, and of course, send out the recorded copy of this presentation. These rates are going to include some savings for you, some the unlimited Wi-Fi and classic beverage package. They do have refundable deposits, and they also have free gratuities and $100 of onboard credit. So if you're going to go to Alaska next year, you absolutely should do it on the solstice. Picture yourself in those jacuzzis overlooking the glaciers on the side of the ship, not the ones in the sunset bar, but the ones in the retreat. But yes, this is going to be a perfect ship for Alaska given all the new updates on it. So a lot of new outdoor spaces. That's great for an Alaska itinerary.
Mhm.
From Alaska, she will move into a one Hawaii and New Zealand or Hawaii sailing while she moves from Vancouver over to Australia. There'll be one thrown in there that includes Hawaii, and then it will make its way to Australia and New Zealand before making her way into Asia. And she has a really exciting Asia itinerary. So it's Thailand, Vietnam, Hong Kong, got Singapore. There's 13 nights and 15 nights, and some of the itineraries are different, but it really hits all of those kind of like main focal points in Southeast Asia. And if you go to the next slide for me, we have some really great specials for these itineraries as well. So these are substantial savings for you, hundreds of dollars in savings, plus the free gratuities, the $100 of onboard credit. The free gratuities is not on every sailing, that is specific to the ones listed. However, the $100 of onboard credit is going to be valid for pretty much every sailing with the exception of transatlantic, trans-Pacific, and Galapagos sailings. So
And
if
do
you
they have a
are
booking window on those, on that $100 onboard
There
credits?
is,
Or yeah.
yes. So it'll be 2 weeks from today. So we're going to start today on the 17th, and you will be able to book this until July 1st. So from now through July 1st, there's an extra $100 of onboard credit for you on any celebrity cruise. Plus, we have some really exciting rates for you on the solstice. So be on your lookout tomorrow for emails from Create Your Cruise. We will be sending out these specials along with some other specials for the next 2 weeks, focused on Celebrity Cruises, one of our favorite partners, to celebrate this new revolution ship.
And y'all, seriously, that itinerary was extraordinary. And these prices, oh my goodness, on a essentially a brand new ship. She was built
Yep.
in 2008, but she is going to be essentially a brand new ship. She's going to be completely redone. Long, beautiful itineraries in balcony staterooms at this
All
price.
included.
Holy cow.
Gratuities, beverage, Wi-Fi, and it's a refundable deposit. Like these are fantastic deals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they are.
We've been going through the Q&A. I think we have just a couple more in here, so we'll get through those really quick. So in order to expand spaces, was it necessary to reduce the common areas? Do you want to answer that?
Again, we haven't seen the overall footprint of the ship, the new deck plan. I mean, yeah, of course, I'm sure some walls have been moved around. For instance, they're saying that Camp at Sea and the future cruise office will be redesigned and relocated. So they probably took some of those spaces for some of these new spaces that they are creating. But it'll be really exciting to see what the final deck plan looks like. Really hard to answer that question because I'm not part of the design team.
I will say in the Millennium series, when they did the ships there, they didn't take away. So there was no venues that felt significantly smaller to make up for the ones that they changed or added or messed with it anyway. So I wouldn't expect places to feel smaller if that's what you're concerned about.
Usually when they do something like this, they will find a space that is underutilized that,
Hmm.
just sits there empty most of the time, and they'll repurpose that or move it to somewhere less obtrusive or I guess, less prime square footage. And so like you're saying, there tends to be really zero impact to the guest experience when they do things like this because they're very, very mindful of not taking away or reducing a space that's popular.
Yeah, that's very true too. Have they scheduled a date for the dry dock yet? Yes, we know it's scheduled for March of 2026. So starting in pretty much April of next year, you can expect that ship to be brand new.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and I'm sure that they have the precise dates, which I don't have in front of me, but they really have this down to a science. They will, if they're saying she's going to be coming out in March of 26, fully renewed, revitalized, all the things, she will. She'll come right on out, and maybe even early.
That's true. I don't know if they've given you this number yet. I don't think they've given us this number. What will the total passenger number be with the new stateroom additions and categories?
Yeah, they have not. They have not. That's an interesting question. It's a really good question. And I'm interested to see it. So, right now, Solstice series ships run around 2,800 guests to 3,000 is the 3,046 is the Celebrity Reflection. That's the highest capacity currently of a Solstice series ship. So, I wouldn't expect to see them, exceed very much more than a couple hundred guests more. I think would be my guess.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That would be my guess too. It wouldn't be so significant.
No, and I think too, part of the celebrity experience is the spaciousness of our ships, the way that they're so beautifully designed for traffic flow and to, minimize lines and waiting. And so they're very thoughtful and very mindful about how they do this design because we want to continue with the celebrity, nothing comes close onboard experience, that elevated experience that you're used to. So I would honestly expect to see zero impact to the onboard experience by adding some additional staterooms and additional guest count.
I would agree with you there. Well, we're very excited. I think that hits all of our questions. We don't have any more. We've got them all, but I'm excited. I really love when when a ship gets a new life. It really brings it back to life. It makes it exciting again. It gives us something to talk about with all of you. So thank you all for being here, Jenny. Thank you for doing this presentation with me. And we are here
Having me.
to book your solstice cruises. Give us a call. We look forward to working with you all.
Get in on those great rates and that $100 onboard credit. Get them while it's hot.
Be on the lookout tomorrow for our emails, y'all. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Jenny.
Bye, everybody. Bye,
Have
Tom.
a good night.
You too. Bye.